Well, good evening. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. Well, spring has finally sprung. Now it's time to get out the hot rods and get them ready. Um, the Camaro will be on the road this summer. It's like most of you know, it's been in storage since 2007. Recently got it out and got the motor out of the race car in it. Made it to two races last summer, one in September and one in August. Fared out fairly well. Still got some bugs to work out of it, but it runs respectable numbers. The only thing it needed for the street is some exhaust, a new exhaust, and some rear tires. Previously, it had 245/60s all the way around. Um, it it looked good in the front, but the car is raised up. Well, it's not really raised up, but it sits high. It doesn't have longer shackles or anything into it, but it is a multi-leaf car with new multi-leafs in it. So to fix that and get it roadworthy, I went out and I picked up a brand new set of BF Goodrich radial TAs. These are 275/60s. I think they look really good on the car. They fill up the wheel well. They don't stick out past the quarter panel. I think they're a nice fit. Lots of clearance inside. Big difference. This is what we had before. These are. This is the other side, which is the 245/60s. As you can see, they're quite a bit smaller. And them ones are bald. I mean, completely bald. I'm not sure what happened there. But anyway, and the next thing we got got a brand new Flowmaster exhaust from the header to the tailpipes. It's advertised as bolt-in for your average DIY guy with just ordinary hand tools, using all existing factory holes in the car. I guess we're going to find out how factory direct bolt-on it is. I doubt it, but I have a guy that does some exhaust work, so we're going to take it to his place, put it on the hoist. Then we'll have access to everything that we need to do any alterations or anything. And the next thing I picked up, these aren't new, but last summer I was running a set of 28 by 11.5 inch slicks on the car. They were quite old. They came around after a while and got sticky, but then once they came around, they got too sticky. I didn't show a whole lot of video on YouTube from the races or anything, but the people on Facebook that are on here seen the pictures of how it was just dead hooking the tire. I got a bunch of power out of the car because I can only run 1150 with it because it does not have a roll bar or anything like that. So the fastest I can go is 1150. I was well under that, so dead hooking the tire and running slow wasn't a big deal, but it was inconsistent. Anyone who knows bracket racing, if you're not consistent, you ain't gonna go rounds. And a lot of the problem is detuning it. I kept the 373 gear into it and the big tire because I was trying to kill power, so I wouldn't have to be whomping the throttle or on the brakes at the end to brake out. Then that didn't seem to work. Like I said, it was dead hooking the tire for lack of power. Well, really not lack of power, but just with the gear and the tire and the shocks. Wasn't really working, so then I borrowed a set of 26-inch tall slicks. It helped, but I was still, but the problem is I'm just absolutely crushing the sidewall. And what's happening there is, it is bone, when I say bone stock, I mean it's new stuff back in 2005, but it's stock coils and shocks out front, stock multi-leafs with slapper bars, and stock shocks out back. What's happening is the stock shock cannot control the separation. So the car is just getting way too much bite, and it's crushing the sidewall. I added air. Didn't matter how much air I put into it, it was still crushing the sidewall. And then when the sidewall would come up and the shock topped out, it upset the car. So what I got on the way is I got a set of Calvert Racing 9-way single adjustable shocks. I would have liked to had a nicer set of shocks, but as it is, those 9-way singles landed here, they're still over $500. That's a lot of money right now. That may not be a lot of money for a good pair of shocks, but for me at this time, that's a lot of money. So anyway, we're between that to be able to control the separation and not crush the slick. Hopefully we'll be gaining a tenth, maybe a tenth and a half. But what we're going to gain, most importantly, is consistency. The 60 foots are going to be consistent. The car is going to be predictable. And yes, whatever we gain in 60 feet is going to be doubled at the quarter. But we're just going to have to play games at the end. We'll have to dial the car 1150 because, as I said, that's as fast as we can go. And we're just going to have to play games at play the stripe. Do some throttle womping, fender racing, on the brakes, do whatever it takes. And to go along with that, I'm sure other people on here that are racers know how hard it is to get slicks. And if you can get them, they're crazy expensive. A brand new set of, instead of going with the 28s, I'm going to keep the 373 gears in it. Just to help on the street, keep the RPM down a little bit with the 28-inch 275/60 street tire. It'll help with the RPMs. I got a set of 456s, but I really don't want to be cruising around at like 3,500 RPM. Just cruising around town or on the highway, especially with that big 55. I think it's stalling around 5,500 behind this motor, anywhere from 52 to 55. That's a lot of stall for on the street. So what I picked up is I get a friend of mine's getting at a racing, and he had a really nice set of. They look like Weld Pro Stars, but they're not. They're a Jegs knockoff. But they're still a nice wheel. The slicks on them they're not brand new, but they're fairly new and got a couple seasons left in them for the amount of racing we'll be doing. So I mean, brand new slicks here are a set of 20. Those slicks, 26-inch slicks, brand new, would be $760 taxes in. And I got the wheels and the tires for half of that. So, I mean, it's a win-win. And at least I got a set of slicks. A lot of people are having troubles. Apparently, slicks are really hard to come by now. Anyway, that's a little quick update, and I may get that slick on, mocked up, and see how it looks. And if I do, I'll let you know. If not, see you later. See ya.